Now, hypochondriasis, as you all know from studying astrology, is more a 6-12 combination. 6-12 has 3 basic forms of expression. This is, first of all, someone who just obsesses about health all the time. They're always concerned with it. They're always focused on it. It's their major attention. And the 3 basic potentials of 6-12, Virgo, Pisces, 6th house, 12th house, Neptune, Mercury, are either the artist craftsperson, which is one of the positive forms to create beauty. It's the artisan craftsperson who can create beauty, or the healing helping person, which I frequently call the savior, that helps the world to make a better world, closer to their dream. And the 3rd form, of course, is the victim. And one form of victim is through being sick. And we can either be really sick, in which case the unconscious is producing it, or we can just consciously obsess a lot about it, which is what we usually call hypochondriasis. And it's frequently associated with a person who is not accomplishing as much as they feel they should, and so this is an excuse for getting out of that sense of guilt for what they're not accomplishing. One of my striking cases, I forget what she had in letter 6, but it was Saturn was actually the more prominent feature in her case. She had a Capricorn sun in the 1st house and Saturn in the 8th. And a strong drive to accomplish, to do something outstanding, really achieve, have power. And as long as she was working as a successful businesswoman, she was healthy and was fine. Her husband eventually made enough money so she didn't have to work. And she quit. And then she just really got trapped in the whole hypochondriasis scene, and she would go from one doctor to another, and one psychologist to another, and one psychiatrist to another, for all her problems, just obsessing about herself and her problems. And finally one of the psychologists sent her to me. And I looked at the chart and I said, the only way you're really going to like yourself and feel good about yourself is to go back to work. It doesn't have to be a 9 to 5, but just a sense of accomplishment. She just about hit the ceiling, I can't work, don't you understand? I'm too sick to work. But when I got a little more into what was really going on in her life, she had an elderly aunt who was really an invalid and needed someone to bring her groceries or take her to the store. She didn't want to be bothered. She really didn't want to put herself out and do that. And she was naturally feeling guilty and couldn't acknowledge that. So if she was sick, she could get out of it without guilt. She had a daughter who was in a very bad marriage with 3 little kids, couldn't leave her husband because of the financial, bind. If this woman had gone back to work, she could have helped the daughter to get her out of the marriage, help take care of them temporarily. She didn't want to put herself out and do that either. So she had to be sick to keep her conscience off her back. I don't know where she went from me, but she was making the rounds of all the therapists in town.
It seems like 10 would be connected. It's not just 6 and 12 would be 10.
Yes, that in this case definitely 10 was involved. It can be any mixture where we feel like we ought to be doing more than we're doing, and sometimes it might be people who really are doing quite a lot, but they still feel they ought to be doing more. If their expectations are unreasonable, excessive, this can be a part of it. But yeah, go ahead.
Are they the people the busy people who always have time for something else?
Yeah, 6 and 10 are generally the people who are extremely competent, and they do a really good job, and they may do, if they have a lot of mutables or fire, they may do a lot of different things well, and still make time for more things, and be just really super capable. But we're talking about the person who either doesn't want to do what their conscience says they ought to do, or what the world says they ought to do, and this is a way of getting out of it without feeling guilty, and a way of making the world do it for them so they don't have to. And it can literally be your only distinction in life. If you have nothing else to be proud of, you can be proud of how ill you are. Sometimes, that can be sometimes a 5-6 combination. If your only distinction in life is your illness, how ineffective your body is.
A bit of hypochondriac.
That's what we're talking about here, the hypochondriac, yeah. And so it can be a 5-6 combination too, where one side of this is the person who's really proud of their work, their accomplishments in their work, including their hobbies. It doesn't have to be for a living, but something that you can do that they're proud of. Or another side is being proud of your health. There's the healthy Virgos who hate being sick and are terribly embarrassed and hide it if they're ever sick. And then they're the hypochondriacs. That's their only distinction in life, is how inadequate their body is and how it's falling apart. Look, every illness in the book. And every time they read it, this is where the Pisces come in, the creative imagination. They can read about any illness and find one of the symptoms in themselves. They've got that one too.
So that has a double value because it gives them a distinction, and it
Mhm.
also takes them off the hook for not doing anything else.
That's right. Yeah, and that's
That's
when you
hard to
get the Sun, the letter 5 involved, where they need some sense of ego and self-esteem. When that's involved, that comes in as a component.
What do you do with these people?
They have to find something that they can enjoy doing. There are cases of this which,
Don't they block you the minute you say that and say,
oh yeah, they have to do it. You can't do it for them. Unless they want to do it, nothing will happen. They will go on doing what they're doing. In the end, everybody has to heal themselves. All you can do is help them to understand it and encourage them.
So maybe if you tell them, well, this is what you're doing, and it's all right with me if you want to do that way, but you don't have to.
Yeah, you might really enjoy life more
Mhm.
if you did something else.
You do have choices.
Yes, that you do have a choice. Yeah.
Increase their
But if they reject it, like this woman did, why, that's their choice.
It's okay.
And you have to just say, okay, you go on getting the consequences. And you will commonly see this particular kind of thing with a man who has lived for his work, has been a true workaholic and lived for his work, and he retires. And he has nothing more to feel a sense of accomplishment and importance, and then he gets totally focused on his health, and his health just deteriorates and becomes the biggest hypochondriac you ever saw. Because they no longer have their effective functioning in their job, and their body is all that's left when they retire.
If the person has a north node in the sixth, what does that mean?
The north node is the easier node. That normally means a person who can handle the efficient functioning in some form. But the south node in the lesson area would be then in the 12th, and they might expect too much of themselves with the 12th house. They might set their expectations too high. I should, no matter what I've done, it should have been better. And that can make problems. Okay, let's